Hey guys, Dan Ageddon here. Oh well, here she is, pretty much finished, well 3/4 finished. This is my bug-in water filtration system. All it is just a 25 litre drum that I've camoed up with a bit of camo paint. Yeah, she's come up really well. Got this bit of a clear strip on the side, that's obviously so I can see the level and when she needs filling up. Going inside, I've mounted inside a 0.5 micron water filter. A lot of these guys, you do find them on caravans and stuff like that. I've gone the 0.5 micron simply because it is the smallest recommended micron that you do go for gravity fed systems. For me, picking the 25 litre gives enough volume of water to be able to push down on the filter and feed the water out the bottom. 0.2 micron filters, with them being finer, you do need pressure, which I wanted to avoid any electrical pumps and stuff like this, simply because this is for emergency situations. So gravity fed, no moving parts, just all gravity fed, push down on filter water, fresh water comes out the other end. Now I've seen a lot of designs of this simple type of setup on the internet, but a lot of the guys have just drilled holes in drums, and because there's O-rings fitted to the bottom of the filter to go in specially designed housings, they've just pushed it through the drum, siliconed it in, and happy days. Well, I've taken this one step further. I've got a bunch of pipe fittings that I acquired from a hardware store. Drilled holes in the fittings to suit the same diameter as the outlet neck on the filter, mounted the O-rings on the filter, then got a bit of food safe silicone and pushed the fittings onto the filter, pressed them down, wait till it dried, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, got an awesome bloody screw on fit and a screw in filter. This is my second test so far, and I have not had a problem. In the actual bottom of the drum, you can't quite see it because it is sitting on the other container here. I've drilled a bigger hole and put two fittings. There was like a nut and a bolt fitting, but with a hole in the middle, and I've screwed them together on the bottom of the drum through the hole, so it's given my filter a thread to screw into the bottom of the drum. I've also used silicone to seal that thread because it is a taper thread, and you don't want to over tighten these things, else they do snap off pretty easy. Basically, you farmer guys out there, it is a lot of fittings that you use on your Aggie pumps and stuff like that, just the small plastic multi-purpose fittings. Yeah, so all that has been siliconed up, but I can still, the only downfall with it is if I do need another filter, well, I've got to customise the filter so it's a screw-in filter. I can't find here in any of my Bunnings stores any screw-in filters. These are all push-in, obviously for ease of use, but for this particular system, I've got to customise my own filters to make them screw-in. Mate, first one I've made, and it's worked an absolute treat so far. I've used pretty dirty water, haven't used river water yet, but I hope to be getting out in the next couple of weeks where I know a place where there's a river, which I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try it with stagnant water, going to try it with just dirty muddy water as well, and see how good these filters are. You know, if you still don't trust these filters, I know there's going to be people out there that don't fully trust these filters. That's all cool. That's what they made purification tablets for. So if you don't trust the water that you're drinking, purify it, boil it, do all the different ways of purifying your water and making it better. This at the moment is the system that I've built and that I'm using, so I can use this. If I've got a bug in, I can bug in by catching rainwater off my roof, putting it through this, or you know, can go down to the local little river down there that feeds into the bay and get water out of there and use the water out of there. This way I'm still drinking reasonably fresh water and yeah, stay hydrated, which we all know it's very important, especially when you're out bush. Like I said in my last video, last thing you want is diarrhea, and a lot of the little itty gritty little bugs that live in water, mate, can either kill you or give you the shits and can make you really messed up. And the last thing you want when bugging out and trying to get to safe locations and stuff like that is having the runs. You want to be running, not stopping and having the runs out the other end. Well, anyway, yeah, so it takes, this particular drum's about 25 litres. I've put about 20 litres of water in there, because when I timed it the first time, it's about 5.5 hours it took to gravity feed 20 litres of water. Now that was pretty dirty water I used. It wasn't anything out of a mud puddle, but it was pretty dirty. What I'm going to be doing to speed up the process a bit is the lid here. I'm going to drill a hole in one of the sides near the handle there, and I'm going to fit a valve in. Now, you guys that know anything a little bit about cars, you run tubeless tyres on some of the cars these days. Well, the valve that they use is a special valve. It's got a rubber cup at the bottom that fits inside the steel rim. Now I'm going to fit one of them to this lid. So I'm going to drill a hole through there, put the valve in, seal it up with my food safe silicone. Mate, it's great stuff. With my silicone. And then you don't need to use excessive pressures, because you've got to remember this is just cheap plastic made in China, sort of plastic drums. They're not designed to hold high pressure. But with this particular type of setup, you can't just pump a little bit of pressure in and leave it. You've got to check it. Roughly, I'm going to be doing experimentation, roughly 20 to 30 minute intervals to keep the pressure up. You could probably stretch it out to about an hour, but we'll check it out and see how it goes and see what pressures I'm good for. Like, there's a good robust tight thread on this lid. There is a rubber seal inside the lid. How much I'd trust that being from just being a cheap drum, we'll soon see. Like I said, I'll keep you guys updated that are interested in this particular type of system. Very cheap to make. The most expensive bit was the filter. It did cost around $75, $80 off memory. It's not a cheap filter, but for what it's worth, it's priceless for what it's going to provide. You know, it is like we all know, for the human species to survive, hydration is the #1 key. You can live 3 weeks without food. You can live 3 days without water, especially in states like mine, which are high humidity and hot. You guys that live in the drier heat, you know as well how important water is. If you're not sure, the intakes are usually what I was taught in the army, is you sip on your bottle all day. Now, if you're working hard, you sip every 15 minutes. That's if you're doing very vigorous work. If not, you drink every half an hour to an hour. That's around a litre of water. But they did simplify by a bit more by keep sipping every 15 minutes when working vigorously. This does not mean when you're sitting in an air-conditioned office or, you know, doing bugger all, watching your dogs or your kids play outside. This is if you're working, you're sweating, and you're constantly moving. I actually learnt this the hard way through my training. Went down a few times because I was being naive and thought I had it all under control. But yeah, spoke to a medic, and that was what was recommended for someone like myself. I am a tall fella. I am a fairly big bloke too. I'm sure one day you'll see me on this camera. So water intake for me is very important due to being a high sweater as well. I sweat a lot because of the size of me. So water for me is very important. So guys, this is my filtration system. Second test, working well. I'm going to film it when I take it out bush and try it on the dirty water. And for you guys that are interested, check it out. All right, guys, have a good one, eh? Prep for the worst and stay safe. Bye.